Hello, welcome back to the channel. So much to discuss today around the football club and what it means for us moving forward. We'll start with the man of the moment, or the boy of the moment really. He's still so young. Nestory Irankunda lighting up the World Cup. One of the best moments of the tournament so far for me. The Socceroos beating Turkey by 2-0 in their opening group game. And they must be thrilled with that. I think in every major tournament for as far back as I can remember, even going back to when I was at school, Turkey have always been viewed as dark horses, the underdogs, someone who can overachieve. But for Australia to beat them by a relatively comfortable margin in their first game is pretty incredible. And one of Watford's star men has delivered on the biggest stage, the world stage. Forget about the Championship, the Premier League, Europa League, Champions League. The World Cup eclipses all of that. And our winger, Nestory Irankunda, has put his name very much underneath the spotlight. And I couldn't be more proud. The initial run, the touch, the dribble, the pace, and the finish past the goalkeeper was immaculate. And if he can continue this form throughout the tournament and hopefully further into the knockout stages, his value will only increase. Now, for Watford financially, that could prove very beneficial in the transfer market. The fans, though, we want to retain our biggest talents. And I don't think it's a controversial statement for me to say that Nestory had an inconsistent season at Watford. Of course, there were great moments in there. The goal at Stoke, the Southampton and Swansea free kicks. Those moments as individual pieces of quality were excellent, but he never really showed it on a consistent basis. I thought Nestory, as the season came to an end under Ed Steele, was one of the few players trying to produce moments of quality, but on the whole, it was a disappointing year from him, I would say. But when he puts on that yellow shirt of Australia for the Socceroos, he steps it up another gear. He finds somehow from deep within him another 5 or 10%, and the football and moments he produces for Australia is nothing short of miraculous. So delighted for Nestory, and I look forward to watching him for the rest of the tournament. I was so tempted to set my alarm as well this morning, but I've got to say I'm not a morning person. I value my sleep, and given it's a Sunday here in the UK, I think I deserve a lie-in as well. But look, to conclude on Nestory, thrilled for him, and I hope he gets more moments to impress in this FIFA World Cup. Going from a real high to a low now, and unfortunately we learn of the news on Friday that Watford legend Kenny Jackett passed away at the age of just 64. Now, of course, Kenny was at the club both as a player and a manager before my time really. But listening to personal anecdotes from family members, former players, and anyone who interacted with him, my biggest takeaway is his personality and what he was like to be around. I think, without a doubt, Kenny Jackett left the world in a better place than when he entered it. And as a human, that's all you can ask for, really. He was a one-club man who dedicated his entire playing career to the Hornets before injury blighted that at the age of just 28. And then he enjoyed a pretty illustrious coaching career as well, both at Watford, Millwall, Wolves. The list goes on. He was well liked by everyone in football. And I think we saw that in the tributes to Kenny over the last few days as well, from John Barnes, Paul Robinson, to even current England striker Harry Kane, who has credited him for a lot of his development in his younger years. Kenny Jackett epitomises everything Watford should be about. Family orientated, wanting to get the best out of each other, mutual respect. That is something Kenny had in abundance, and it goes without saying that he will be missed by many around the football club. So I want to take this opportunity to say thank you. And if it wasn't for Kenny, I don't think Watford would be where it is now on the footballing world. And finally, we need to speak on our new Italian manager, Alessio Dionisi. This process has taken such a long time. It's certainly the longest I have ever seen in the Pozzo era. And whether you view that as a positive or a negative, it's a marked contrast to what we got previously, which was a manager being dismissed and then 30 minutes later, the next man walking through the door. So you can't argue that they have taken their time over this appointment. Whether Alessio was the first choice candidate or not, that's up for debate, of course. But look, I don't feel particularly inspired or confident by this, and I'm sure lots of you echo my thoughts at home. I've got a whole dedicated video about Alessio due to come out when the club release official confirmation, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But yeah, I'm not sure about this one. I think Neil Fredrickson, from when that was reported, was the clear first choice candidate, and I think his credentials was something I was quite excited about as well. But Alessio is someone who has seen success in the past. He has achieved a promotion with a second division club, Empoli, from Serie B to Serie A. And he has also consolidated 2 mid-table finishes in the top division with Sassuolo as well. Those are the high points of his career. And in terms of a head coach, he is still relatively young as well. But looking at his past 2 or 3 jobs, it doesn't scream at all that he is the right character or individual to take Watford on. Now, I don't want to judge him too early. And in fact, I would urge you to not judge him at all until 10, 12 games into the season. I think that's when you can get a real idea over where a team might finish and the direction they're going in. But my first impression as a supporter, speaking to you today, isn't one of optimism. It's one of trepidation and concern that if this goes wrong yet again, we can find ourselves in a very difficult situation towards the bottom end of the table. But I'll speak more about Alessio when it's confirmed by Watford. As I said, I've got an entire video dedicated to him coming out very soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And I think I'll leave it there for today. Thank you for watching. Congratulations to Nestory Irankunda for a wonderful performance with the Socceroos. And I look forward to speaking to you very, very soon. Don't forget to subscribe. And remember, we're not just here on YouTube. You can catch us across all our social pages, including Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. We've got you covered, and we'll keep you updated with all the latest around the football club this summer.